Okay, I'm calling the November 12th, 2024 Rockaway Township Council meeting to order. Let's start with the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence to remember the service and sacrifices of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Freelander.
Here.
Councilwoman Noon.
Here.
Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Sackett.
Here.
Councilwoman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Quinn. Councilman Wojtovich. Council Vice President Selberg.
Here.
Council President Morrison.
Here. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Daily Record and the Star Ledger, the official newspapers for the Township of Rockaway. Notice was posted on the official bulletin boards of Rockaway Township, the Township website, and notice was filed in the office of the Township Clerk. Before we get into the meat of the meeting, Mr. Mayor, I know you have a few things.
Thank you. I'll just turn my back to you. Chief, Deputy Chief, and Jeff, come on up. You know, you look on Facebook these days, and you see a lot of people complaining about kids and stuff they're doing. You know, whether it be riding their bikes in the road or doing things at the mall, and you don't hear about the good things kids do. So we want to recognize some kids tonight who did something fantastic. So Owen, Oliver, Vincent, and Sebastian, can you come up here? Are you all here? Come on up here. Who's Owen? Who's Owen? Which one's Owen? I hear you're going to be the spokesman. Come here. Why don't you come up here? One of your former teachers told me you'd be a good spokesman. So why don't you tell everybody what happened? 30 seconds.
We were gonna go hang out at his house, and then we saw on his porch that there was a small fire, and then my friend Vincent ran in while me and Oliver called the police, and then we went to go get some help.
All right, good job. All right, so, you know, not only did they save the kids in the house, you know, if that fire kept burning, who knows if firefighters had to show up in the scene and go inside, they could have gotten injured. So just an incredible job by all four of you. Sebastian, great job. And so we have some people here tonight who want to honor what they did. So I'm going to start with Senator Bucco.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't tell you just how proud we are of all of you, okay? In today's day, a lot of times, folks see things and they tend to look the other way, right? Well, I'm not going to get involved in this. You guys had the courage to step up, go inside, alert the kids that were in the house, and then call the police to make sure that first responders responded in a timely fashion to put the fire out and to make sure that everything was okay. That took a lot of courage and a lot of thought on your part to organize your thoughts in a situation that probably unfolded in your minds in a split second. And for you to do that in the manner in which you did is an incredible act on your part. And that's why everybody is here tonight, to recognize you for doing what you did. I've spent 40 plus years in the fire department in my town as a volunteer. And I can tell you, and the gentlemen that are up here can tell you, that when a fire starts, seconds count. Seconds count. And your actions, immediate action, probably saved a lot of property damage and life, and helped the first responders do their job without putting them in harm's way as well. So you should be commended for that. Tonight, I have joint Senate and Assembly citations for each of you. Why don't I go get them and I'll hand them. and this is just a small token of appreciation on behalf of the state of New Jersey for your quick and heroic actions. Oliver? Come on up. Owen? Vincent? And last but not least, Sebastian.
Go ahead.
Come on, guys.
Get a picture here. Thanks, Senator. Call up Sheriff Gannon.
Mayor, thank you, and Chiefs, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. What a great evening. What a great evening in Rockaway Township. I mean, you heard it said very well before as to what happened, but it went to a second alarm, right? The fire, a lot of mutual aid came in to assist, and, obviously there's been a lot going on, right, around Rockaway Township most recently. But, you see something and you say something. But they not only did that, they did something. As the senator said, seconds do count. And these fires get out of control very quickly. And lives were saved because of these young men. And I'm so very proud of you. So I will make you an offer. I got a snappy little plaque for you. But also, if you want to come to my office and see some of our operations over there, I buy the pizza, and for moms and dads, free parking. Parking usually gets the people there. So I'd love to have you over to see our operations in the county, and very proud of you. So I have Sebastian. I know Sebastian. That's yours. Vincent. Owen. And Oliver. Congratulations.
I get the feeling they're all kind of like, man, maybe we shouldn't have.
Mayor, if I
Yeah,
could just
go-
make a comment.
absolutely.
I also want to say, as Morris County Sheriff, we supply some services here.
Yes.
In the fires over the last few weeks. And I have to say, the fire service, the police service, EMS, OEM, was brilliant. The
Thanks.
operation that was done, very proud to be a small part.
Thank you,
You guys
Sheriff.
did a
Thanks
great
for your
job.
support.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great job.
Thank you for your support. So we have County Commissioner Smith, Shaw, and Celine here.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to have a lot of hardware after tonight. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm County Commissioner, Deputy Director Stephen Shaw, Typhoon Selin, Deb Smith. We're your county commissioners. You probably don't know exactly what that is, but that's not really important right now. It's about these four young gentlemen and something you hear so much today about the youth. Oh, they're not aware of their surroundings, what's going on. They have the earbuds in, the phones, the social media. But you guys obviously are very aware of your surroundings, very concerned about your community. And when you saw something, as everybody's saying, you did something and you helped out. So we're here on behalf of the Commissioner Board, and we represent all the residents of Morris County to simply say, thank you, keep up the good work, and you're really an example for everyone in this room, and especially your counterparts in school and such. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and could the parents stand up, please? I want, I really, I'd be clapping, but I've got the plaques.
Yeah.
But I really want to commend the parents for raising these magnificent young men. Great job.
So let's get them their more hardware.
Yes, we have plaques and pins.
So I'd like to ask Principal Bear, Superintendent Corbett, BOE President Shields, if you want to come up.
Now you know the drill now.
Yeah. We'll get you up and take pictures with pictures.
Now, we can offer you a tour of our offices in Morris County, but the sheriff has the office. I can take them up on that offer. You can all come. You can look at our desk.
Thank you. So, surely, as Deb said, right, a reflection of parents, but it's also a reflection of what they're learning in schools from the administration, from some of the teachers we have here tonight. I also have proclamations for each of you with pins for what you did. I'm not going to burden everybody and read the proclamations, but obviously we're all very proud of what you did. But more importantly than all the proclamations you got tonight, we got gift cards. AMC Movie Theater, Buffalo Wild Wings, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Crumble Cookies all donated gift cards to give to these fine young men. You guys got a lot of stuff. All right. Thank you. And I did an extra one in case you wanted to display it totally. Tanya, come on. So everybody's welcome to stay before we get on to the next activity, or you can leave now. It's up to you. Free parking. So, thank you.
These are the good days. These are the good days, right? These are all the good days.
Got one more thing, I'm sorry. All right, where's Brittany? We could do this, right? People are still mulling around. Next thing we're going to talk about is the Mayor's Walking Challenge. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. It was a 6-week event. We had 20 teams of about 100 people participate. So people got out and walked, and we have prizes for the finalists. I did want to note some individual accomplishments. The highest single-day step count was 35,087 steps. The highest weekly step count was 147,689 steps, and the highest individual steps was 794, 145. This way. 145, all by Glenn Campbell, and the most best bonus challenges completed was Kristen Dunn. So in fourth place with 1 million, it's not working, Bob. 1,994,878 stats, LaDonna Forte de Unico. So Team captain, Paula Platti, Judy Ricucci, Judy Mustachio, and Maria Ferende. You come up and get some prizes. They had uniforms, obviously. You could tell they had a walking uniform. I don't know if anybody else is here. Finishing in second with 2,125,801 steps, the Walkie Talkies. Team captain, Susan Gabe and Megan Gabe, Kathy Vonk and Pat Vonk. Is Christine here? Right, I don't see her. She's in the back? Unreal. And in first place, the Soul Sisters with 2,354,062 steps. Captain Chrissy Centarella, Christine Bray, Lori Parfer, and Tiffany French.
They don't want to sit there.
Not me.
Can we shut those doors, please? Thanks.
They'll figure it out how to do it. Probably do it.
Okay, we're now going to hold a hearing to comply with the Green Acres requirements at Peterson Field. Mr. Coward?
I think we skipped number six.
Skip.
We can do this now, the engineer, tell them right here, that maybe want to go over.
We skipped 6.
We can do either.
Okay, we'll just do this out here. Can you gavel to open hearing? Thank you very much. Thank you, Council President. This hearing is required by Green Acres in order to modify the use of any property which received Green Acres funding in the past. The township is in the planning stages of a project at Peterson Field, which will turn approximately 2 acres, which is currently wooded, into passive recreation facilities. Playground, pavilion, volleyball courts, and community gardens are currently contemplated. This plan is consistent with what was put forward by Mayor Jackson in June. Currently, the only near-term change for Peterson Field is tree removal in the area where these improvements are contemplated. A more detailed plan is going to be engineered and put forward over the next year prior to any construction. And council will obviously be taking action on all of those things as we typically do. Because of the wildlife at Peterson Field, we're restricted on the time we can do tree removal to November to March of each year, trying to get this done before our current opening, just to keep our options open. This is just a venue for anyone who wants to comment on this plan to do so, so it is just open to the public for comment.
If there's anyone from the public that wishes to make a comment, there is a time limit of 3 minutes. Keep in mind, this is not a question and answer period. It is merely to make a statement, and we will, as long as it makes sense, get back to you later.
Tucker Kelly, 16 Megan's Road. I think many of you know that I actually own adjoining property to the area that you're looking to do construction on, which is on Queens Road. And in the past, when I was an elected official, there was a little bit of controversy when it came to some projection of what we were going to improve in Peterson Field area. And in this particular thing that's here now, one trouble that we had several years ago was the actual projection of costs. Is there a projection of cost that we're looking to spend or acquire through grant or through bonding, one, for these improvements? Two, in past leaders and past mayors, we did a referendum, and we would have the actual vote of the residents, taxpayers, voters, to see whether or not this is something that the township really wanted. And it gave the council a little bit of lightness into concern because the voters would make that decision rather than you guys making a decision whether it's good or bad. There's been some controversy of what went on currently with Peterson Field and the over $5 million expenditure that they had. So in 19, we had those improvements up for referendum, and many of the council members had removed and rescinded that referendum. So going forward, I think this would be something that we would put up to allow the voters to decide whether or not this is a good fit for Peterson Field. Because you have an envelope of usage on a postage stamp of property that you're doing. It's very congested already. And then now you're taking the last buffer between the Peterson Field Route 80 and the residents in Fleetwood on Edith and Queens, and portion of Fleetwood, obviously. So it's just those things to think about. Not criticizing it. I'm all about the improvement aspect of it all. But you would never have a contractor say, hey, I'll build that for you. Well, how much? Well, I'll let you know when I'm done. We want to know the costs to see what we're going to do. We want to try to decrease our debt, not increase our debt and bond, and see if we can get other avenues through donations and grants and so forth and so on. Thank you.
Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Mr. Coward, anything else on this? Did they? No?
Yeah, no, that is it. We will just close the hearing with the gavel. That is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and there's a separate presentation on the update to the Township Open Space and Recreation Plan.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Heskins Davis. I'm a licensed planner, and I've been hired by the municipality to update your 2013 Open Space and Recreation Plan. For the members of the council, there's a handout that was provided in your packet. For members of the public, the same handout is available next to the agendas if you want to take a look. So I'm here this evening in order to do the first of two required public meetings on the update to your open space and recreation plan. So I ask that the council president, after I've done my presentation and the council has asked any questions, that you open it up to the public so they have the opportunity to ask questions as well. I work for the Land Conservancy of New Jersey. We're right next door. In fact, we are one of the co-owners with Rockaway Township of Craigmere Cliffs that suffered the fires over the past week. Our staff was out there this week with the Morris County Park Commission to take a look at the damage on the site, and we're actually pretty encouraged with what went on at Craigmere Cliffs. The fire damage is really not as extensive and may actually turn out to be healthy for the forest that's there, if that gives you any solace. The Open Space and Recreation Plan was done in 2013. At that time, Joe Fiorella was the Director of Recreation, who was also the head of your open space program. Rockaway Township had a very active open space program. In order to qualify for Green Acres funds, you have to have an open space and recreation plan and a tax that collects a minimum of 1 cent per $100 of assessed value in order to qualify for enhanced state funding, which you do, and you have used. The plan is good for 10 years, so when it's completed in 2025, you'll be good for state funding for the next 10 years, and it's directed towards land acquisition. Green Acres has 3 funding programs. They have land acquisition, which you've taken advantage of. They have park development, which you've also gotten funding through, and they have a new bucket called stewardship. So if you have a large-scale park management project, a minimum of $100,000, you can apply for $50,000 from the state of New Jersey through the Green Acres program. And this probably will be the last year that they're going to offer funding through the Jake's Law program to apply for funding for completely accessible playgrounds. It's a really good source of funding. Madison Borough received $500,000. Sparta Township received $500,000 towards the construction of the accessible playgrounds. Applications are due at the beginning of February. If you have questions, Dave Dyer is your Director of Rec. He knows how to reach me. Allison Ferrant, I'm happy to help you through my role at the Land Conservancy. So what is the role of the Open Space and Recreation Plan? It's really twofold. You need to check what your goals are for open space, really need to make sure you understand what's permanently protected, you need to look at what your needs are for additional land, and provide recommendations. It's a very simple process, very straightforward. Rockaway Township is very robust in its preserved land inventory. We've been spending the last week going through your tax data. In fact, missed dinner tonight because we were still going through it. And it's interesting. You have just under 2,000 acres of municipal parkland. In 2014, you did what's called a public open space inventory that you submitted to Morris County. And there's an additional 114 acres that you listed on that as land that's owned by the municipality that would be appropriate for open space. The Land Conservancy has gone through that list. We provided it to your township engineer and your township recreation director, and we're recommending that you consider putting that land on your recreation open space inventory. You also have several properties that are preserved through homeowner dedication, through homeowner associations that totals 171. So altogether, you have about 2,300 acres of municipal open space, which is 18% of all preserved land in the municipality. The Park Commission owns 667 acres. The big owner of preserved land, which you know, is the state of New Jersey. They do that in 3 different ways. The state owns land directly. They have easements on different watershed lands, and that totals just under 3,000 acres, and Camp Winnebago has an easement on it. I've been doing this work for 25 years at the Land Conservancy, several years before that in my own municipality. The state of New Jersey really doesn't do that work anymore. So, from my perspective, I'm completely biased. I'm an open space advocate. I think it's a good thing for Rockaway Township that you've been able to protect that land through a different owner. The state manages and owns it, and it's protected in perpetuity for the benefit of your residents. The goals for the open space plan are ones that make sense for the municipality to expand existing lands. And this actually is much easier said than done. Rockaway Township is in the preservation area of the Highlands. Your engineer and your planner and your rec director are really looking at all different avenues of ways to purchase additional land for active recreation. It's not an easy thing in Rockaway Township, but it's one that you're being very creative about looking at. You've been dedicated to securing the Beaverbrook watershed, the history and culture of the municipality, this forest, which I started out with in terms of managing them, and also controlling the growth of non-native plants. And that's going to be the biggest risk, I think, with the restoration of the land that's been under fire. To also improve accessibility, I think you should really take a look at that Jake's Law funding and to offer trails and paths. One of the things that, if I was mayor, I'd really want to know is how much have we collected and how much have we brought in other people's dollars. And that's really the point of the open space plan. You want to qualify for state funding. So as of 2023, your open space trust fund has collected $6.8 million. Morris County has awarded $21.3 million to preserve open space and farmland. And you've taken advantage of nearly all of the programs that Morris County has to offer. And you've done that in partnership with the Morris County Municipal Utility Authority and the Morris County Park Commission, in addition to the traditional Open Space Trust Fund. The Green Acres Program and also the Farmland Program through the state has awarded an additional $4 million. So for the $7 million that you've collected from your residents, you've brought in an additional $25 million in outside funding. And I think that's something to really be able to be proud of and to remark on. So where are we in the process? The Land Conservancy has conducted site visits. We've done a lot of research. This is our first public meeting tonight, and we're in the process of drafting your plan. The goal is to get the plan done probably within the first quarter of 2025, so we can get it back to the municipality for review. We're anxious to get that draft done and out and reviewed because 2 weeks ago, Green Acres released new guidelines for open space and recreation plans. And they've done an overhaul of how the plans are written. We really don't want Rockaway to have to redo their plan. We appealed to the state. They agreed that you could follow the existing guidelines, not the new ones. So we want to get it in while they remember that they said yes to that. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions from the council, from any of your staff, and from the public. And I thank you for hosting the meeting tonight.
Is there any council questions? Administration? Anyone from the public? Once again, there will be a 3-minute time limit.
Again, Tucker Kelly, 16 Megan's Road. I was not aware of this, and by the way, you did a phenomenal job explaining everything that's there, and I appreciate your passion that you have for open space. But you just heard her say that collectively between the $4 million that you had and the additional $25 million, total amount is $29 million. Not one of you had a question. Not one council member had a question. Not one member of our administration had a question.
Mr. Kelly, this is for questions. This is not to try to shame people into
I'm not
thinking.
trying to shame you.
Well,
but
you know
I'm
what?
sitting here- You're interrupting me right now.
You have the
Councilman.
answers to questions that nobody's asking right now.
Why wouldn't you ask any questions when it comes to that? This is new information. It's a large amount of money that's being there. She's trying to come up with a plan to get some kind of input,
So,
questions from,
so
excuse me.
no, you asked me a question. Now I'll answer it.
I'm not done, but go ahead.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
All right, you got 2 minutes left.
So
Peace.
that's the thing, like, are any of you interested in any kind of questions of the funding that's there, potentially what you're gonna spend it on? Are you gonna kind of create maybe limits of the spending? Is there a possibility of not spending it all where maybe another municipality could use it that wasn't a recipient of that money from any of their applications for grant or funding? Those are the things that I'm interested in. What are you guys anticipating to do? And this has got to be new to many of you as well, from it being the first time here. And I'm a member of the public, a resident taxpayer all my life, 54 years, and I just can't believe that nobody here had a question on $29 million.
Do you have an actual question?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an actual question?
Why didn't you ask a question? Why didn't you ask a question when she offered?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kelly. You know, I would be upset with you, but I know it's the best you can do. So, thank you for your time. If we have any questions, once we've been able to digest this and see the same paperwork that everybody has at the same time, we'll be sure to email you. Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes for the October 22nd Township Council regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Freelander?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yeah, actually abstain.
Councilman Sackett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks?
Yes.
Council Vice President Salberg?
Yes.
Council President Morrison?
Yes, that's 6 yeses, 1 abstention, motion passes. Okay, now we're going to do the traditional open to the public portion. Once again, I'll call your name. Please come up to the front. As a reminder, there's a 3-minute time limit. This is for comments only, not a question and answer period. Mr. Kelly.
Hello, everybody again. Tucker Kelly, 16 Megan's Road. Today, or tonight, after this public portion on line 10 of this agenda, you're going to vote on Resolution 24203. And it probably deals with the local ethics law that we have under NJSA 40A 922.1. Now, ironically, that's been in our policy and procedure manual since '04, recently amended in August of 2023. It's no surprise, and this resolution is not going to trump the current statute that's there. But under the statute that we have, there's another section of the statute that many of you aren't aware of, or maybe you are, you just ignore it. But under 40A 9-22.5C, no local government officer or employee shall use or attempt to use its official position to secure unwarranted privileges and advantages to himself or others. Now, when I look on this dais, and we're dealing with local ethics law, it's somewhat hypocritical. Like you, Mr. Morrison, you use our town attorney to assist you publicly with your divorce. You got caught on audio and video of your own cameras. Mr. Salberg, you voted for your wife on a paid position in Rockaway Township. And then we have Mr. Doug Brooks. Now, in September of 24 of this year, 2024, there was an ordinance that came, 2414, dealing with chickens and the ordinances for farming and everything else. And right now, currently, it's minimum 5 acres in zones that are R88, RA5, and R40. But leading up to that vote that Mr. Brooks participated in voting in favor of the introduction of that ordinance, Mr. Brooks has been using our legal counsel, paid by the taxpayers, to assist and modify that ordinance for his own personal benefit at 554 Mount Hope Ave. Now, most of you know, I know Mrs. Brooks knows because he's your brother-in-law, you've been at his house. Mr. Brooks has an amazing, almost looks like a penitentiary for your animals and your chickens and your roosters and your coop. So you have roughly about a 20 by 30 pen, a fence that's over 6 feet high. You have over a dozen chickens and roosters that are there that are currently in violation, which you participated in an ordinance to have that to where you can then lock in your unlawful action that you're doing on your property. Now, throughout Facebook, your neighbors and friends let you know that your chickens get loose, they're running on Mount Hope Avenue, they actually tag you in those Facebook posts, and when you go up Richard Mine Road on your other side of your neighbors to the left, it's incredible. Now, Mrs. Ferrante is aware of this. Our administration through the zoning department has gone after multiple neighbors in your ward and other areas to address when people are violating under the Land Use 54 31.2, where you can't farm and have those animals under 5 acres. So why are you violating it, and why are you also violating the local ethics law? Because that's a pure benefit to you directly, and only you.
Your time is up.
This is something of potential official misconduct. It should be reported.
Your time is up,
not only
Mr.
to the
Kelly.
ethics
Please have a
board, but
seat.
to the prosecutor's office.
Please have a seat.
And you need to do something about it, Mrs. Ferrante.
Please have a seat. And again, I find myself in the unusual position of having to defend nothing. Please sit down, Mr. Kelly, your time is up. Just to rebut a few of those points, the extent of Mr. Yachafano's involvement in my divorce was to refer me to another attorney, which I paid. So that's it. Everybody knows somebody, so that was the extent of his involvement. As far as Mr. Brooks is concerned, since we had our initial discussions about the chicken ordinance, we have since sent it back for revision, and Mr. Brooks has officially recused himself from any of the conversations on that going forward, merely due to the fact that we don't want to feed into some people's mania about this vast misconduct that is happening here. Please sit down, Mr. Kelly. You're out of order. Officer, if Mr. Kelly doesn't heed my next warning, please remove him from the meeting. Thank you. So, it's easy to come up here and throw accusations about things that you do not know anything about. Anybody can throw numbers around and statutes and things, and nobody's going to go and look them up. And please be, if we're going to talk about ethics, was it ethical, Mr. Kelly, that you absolved a property of their tax lien 30 days before you bought it when you were on the council? Or are we not talking about that? I'm not looking for a response. It was just a comment. All right. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Okay, moving on. We are moving on at this point. Is there anybody else in the public that wishes to speak? Okay. Moving on to Resolution R-24-203. Just to make a statement on this, as council members, we have a significant responsibility, individually and collectively, to perform our jobs to high ethical standards. That ethical responsibility is of ourselves, the council as a whole, and most importantly, to the citizens of Rockaway Township who we serve. That is the only way we can earn and keep public trust and confidence in what we do. Our council has both Republican and Democrat members. For the most part, we have worked together and have been successful in resurrecting the terrible image created by councils and council officers of about 5 years ago. Those councils and their leadership cared nothing for good government and were motivated by personal agendas and political gain at the expense of the township and its residents. Now that the council has successfully moved away from that image, I believe it is important for this council to affirm its commitment to the highest levels of ethical responsibility, and for each member, including myself, to publicly state by resolution and affirmation that they intend to be bound by the requirements of the local government ethics law, which sets appropriate standards concerning our individual conduct as municipal elected officials. As such, I make the motion for R-24-203 resolution acknowledging the intent of the council to strictly comply with the terms of the New Jersey local government ethics law. Can I have a second?
Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Freelander?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Sackett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks?
Yes.
Council Vice President Salberg?
Yes.
Council President Morrison?
Yes, at 7 yeses, motion passes. Consent agenda. R-24-182 through R-24-202. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Freelander?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon?
Yes.
Councilman Brooks?
Yes.
Councilman Sackett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks?
Yes.
Council Vice President Salberg?
Yes.
Council President Morrison?
Yes, at 7 yeses, motion passes. Okay, moving on to reports. I'll remind everybody to try to please keep it to 5 minutes or less, and we will start with Councilman Friedlander.
Okay, just one report. We had two meetings with the Historical Society. One, we had a presentation about the mines, the mine shafts all through the town, and it was quite informative. Second one, we had our meeting last night, and we went over construction updates. The Ford Fage House is right in the middle of a good restoration project. A bathroom is almost complete. Some rooms are finished, and we're going, we're trying to work around the construction because obviously we can't have people in the building. So we'll see what happens in the springtime. That's it for my reports. I just want to add to what I said last meeting about the first responders and the 911 people. I had firsthand, seeing a fire. It had that fire and I want to commend again the boys that called in that fire, because it was on my block. And I happened to be home that day, that Friday, and walked over there, and I tell you, thank God, I tell you, you can't say enough about the volunteer fire departments in this town. Between what they had to do up north and fire contained in that house on my block, you never know if it's going to go to the next house and just continue on, because obviously White Meadow Lake is the houses are right on top of each other. So knock on wood. Unfortunately, the house was destroyed, but nothing else happened on that block, which I was choked up. And that's it.
Councilwoman New,
No report, thank you.
Councilwoman Brooks.
I just want to thank the mall and most importantly, the Birchwood Fire Department and our police department. Santa has come to town. Friday was super fun. It was amazing. So many people. I don't think I've seen that many kids in one place screaming like at a concert in a long time. So that was really awesome. So thank you for everyone who put that together. As Manny said, everyone keep praying for the first responders and some rain. These fires are really just getting worse and worse every day. They're tired. They're out there working the best they can. So just let's keep all of them in our prayers. And then I just wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Councilman Sackett.
Thank you, Council President. I was happy to be at I thought the mayor would be there. I'm surprised he's got a lot of Rockets game, but the Rockets playoff game over the weekend, the JV lost a tough game against Roxbury in overtime, but they We had a lot more fans there than them, so Rockaway really represented JV, so it was good to be there. Dark Lake, which we had after the last council meeting, was spectacular, 5th year in a row running. I'm glad this event that was brought by a resident to the town and a mayor at the time, we went with it, and it's been awesome every year, growing and growing and growing. They always run out of candy. It's just hard. To all the firemen out there. I know there was a lot of food drives and stuff going on, and I was happy to try to participate a little bit, but what they're doing, and Chief over there, and it's amazing, everything going on. We had, and Craig Meir, and going on in West Milford right now, it's horrible. We got a little rain the other night, but just not enough, and praying for everyone out there. I know we lost a young man up in West Milford, which was tough. And thank you so much. That's the end of my report.
Councilman Brooks?
No report tonight, Council.
Council Vice President?
All right, thank you. Just a few items from our Board of Commissioners. First, they did accept our recommendations as part of the Open Space Trust Fund. We awarded a total of $1.8 million to 3 different applicants. Again, as we spoke about, local open space, again, the Open Space Trust Fund through Morris County, great opportunity for us, and I really want us to try to take advantage of that next year. Also, Resolution 2024-914, I've mentioned this one a few times, the Dover and Rockaway Railroad Tract. They actually did just amend it and reduce the cost by $266,000, so thank goodness for small things. That's all I have.
A couple things. One, I notice our Girl Scouts out there. Is this a part of a badge or something that we have?
Yes, we're doing the Inside the Government badge.
Excellent. Well, welcome, and thank you for staying awake. Yeah, are there any cookies, nothing? You need to coordinate that. You need to coordinate this around that season next time. You'll make a fortune. I'd like to, just like everybody else, express my gratitude to the fire departments that we have. It's absolutely amazing, and people, I don't think, can understand the amount of dedication that it takes. Obviously they're volunteer. I'm sure they have regular jobs, and then they come home and they switch out and they go to this, and it's all day and it's all night. This was, the Rockaway fires was a very big deal. It was on the news channels, and I think that Rockaway represented themselves in the best way possible. It's also very humbling to see, all the mutual aid. It really, it doesn't matter what town is on, the truck. It really is a brotherhood, and it's just really, really nice to see. The fact that the Craig Meir fire took up so much, acreage without any property loss is just absolutely amazing. So, again, thank you for that. And then the only other bookkeeping piece I have is we'll obviously be canceling the December 24th meeting, unless, I know, Jonathan, you and I have nothing to do that night. We can come for Manny. Yeah, that's it. It's, so we will be canceling that. We'll send out an official notice tomorrow. Our clerk will do that. Mr. Yachafano.
No report, Council President.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. First, I'd like to thank our own Brittany Bernstein for running the Mayor's Walking Challenge and doing all she did to make it a success. She's doing a great job with community outreach. I also want to give an update on our veteran flags. We have ordered, I believe, 18 flags. They are in production. We're hoping to get them within the next month and get them hung. So about the firefighters, so I want to mention a few things. First, I promised I'd read the names of all the mutual aid fire departments that helped us in the Craig Meir fire. The microwave fire off Jacobs Road, I wrote notes to all those fire departments thanking them for assisting us. There's a lot more. I don't think I have time to write notes, but I want to mention these fire companies: Parsippany, Boonton, Schooley Mountain, Washington Township, Jefferson, Madison, Butler, Dover, Wanacue, Pompton Lakes, West Milford, Oakland, Wyckoff, Mount Arlington, Fairmont, Washington Township, Boonton, Jefferson, Kinnelon, Upper Saddle River, Whippany, Montville, Mountain Lakes, Randolph, Roxbury, Butler, Garfield, Saddlebrook, Fairlawn, Branchville, Newton, Vernon, Netcong, Flanders, Mine Hill, Bud Lake, Byram, Stillwater, Montague, Kinnelon, Gloucester, Oradell, Riverdale, Sussex Borough, Fort Lee, Ringwood, Wayne, Bloomingdale, Rutherford, Carlstadt, Alamucci, Washington Township, Denville, Pompton Plains, Pinebrook, Griggstown, Hillsborough, Morris County Mutual Aid, Passaic County Fire Coordinator, Sussex County Fire, Morris County Sheriff, OEM, MAB, and Fire Coordinator, Field Communication Unit, BLS Units, Antique Canteen Association, and Passaic County Canteen Unit. So all those units helped us battle that fire, and we're very indebted to them and grateful for them. To show kind of our appreciation to the fire departments, last night the township, we delivered food to their regular monthly meeting for the Green Pond Volunteer Fire Department. They really held the fort down during the inspections when the fire started in Jacobs Road, so we delivered a meal to them, and tomorrow night we'll be delivering meals to all of the fire departments because they have their regular monthly meetings. So just to show our appreciation, I know the Green Pond volunteers were very appreciative of the gesture. They said they'd never had anything like that before, had the government do anything for them before. So just wanted to show a little extra appreciation for what they did and the time they put in.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
can I just, I don't want to take your time, just,
And
go ahead.
real quick, so the meals last night was greatly discounted by RJ's.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And the meals tomorrow night are being provided by Anthony's and Sons, Anthony's Pizzeria, in the borough, and again, greatly discounted, so.
I just wanted to point that out. There's, local businesses that deserve our business who jump at the chance
Yeah.
when asked to
Yep.
help. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you reminded me. So a few things happened since the last meeting for me. We went to the Boy Scout troop, spoke at the Boy Scout Troop 19. It's the only all-girls Boy Scout troop in the area. They asked some really great questions, and they didn't give me a break. They were pretty tough on me. On the 25th, there was the PAL hosted a Halloween party in the Morris Hills cafeteria. It was phenomenal. The costumes were really great. On the 26th, for the Spooktacular, we had a clean community event. And it's very noticeable, Cara Salina, who's our clean community coordinator, since she's been doing these, just the community looks a lot better. When you go, I remember the first year Suzanne and I participated. Before we got off the beach at Mount Hope Pond, we had like 2 bags full of garbage, and now, it's hardly anything. So I think it's a reflection of these clean community events and people in the community just taking it seriously and not polluting things. Halloween, I married a couple. It was a lot of fun, that wedding. If you didn't get the chance, on the 3rd, there was a holiday market at a White Meadow Lake. They did a great job. There were vendors outside, vendors inside. They had some really good deals. Since the last meeting, we've had one of our flu clinics. We've had one of our rabies clinics. The Department of Health does a great job running those. You can call them to register for the next ones. I think the next flu clinic's the 12th or 22nd? 22nd. And the next rabies clinic's in December?
December
7th. So, all free, right? Yep. So, we had Santa's arrival at the mall on the 8th. Thanks again to the fire department, to the mall. On Saturday, it was really nice. We had a couple that got married, and they told me their youngest was a big fan of the police. He dressed as a SWAT officer for Halloween. So I texted Chief Shear, and 2 officers came up. They had a little badge for him, gave him a badge, and a bunch of the kid was like going nuts. He was like out of his mind. So it was like really cool. So it was really nice, really good community moment for the parents. Also, we went to Diwali celebration. For those who don't know, it's a very popular, very big Hindu holiday that's celebrated. So Yoginder Gupta, who's a member of, I think, our Citizens Rec Committee, coordinated with Susan Gabe and Dave Dyer, and they put on an incredible event at the senior center. So it was really, really nice. And, as our community continues to grow, and become more diverse, it's good to be involved in those things. So I was appreciated the invite. I just want to make sure there's others. And just to address some of the questions about the next phase of Peterson, number one, I want to be very clear, it's not the section that's up against Route 80 and up against Queens Road. It's the section in the middle, right above P1 and P2, that where the plans improvements are. So it's not that area up there. No taxes will not be impacted. There's no bonds. We are soliciting, money from companies and all that in the community. So there's no real need for a referendum. There's no tax impact on this project. And that's all I have for tonight.
Ms. Palmieri?
I do not have a report. Thank you.
Ms. Ferrante?
Neither do I.
Mr. Tabbitt?
No report, Council President.
Chief?
Yes, Council President, I do have a report. And again, parts of my report are going to be redundant. However, first I would like to mention the fact that we mentioned Officer Jeffrey Ateatua, life-saving event. We recognized him at the meeting. He's going to be able to participate in Atlantic City to receive a life-saving award, so we're excited for him for that. That's going to be this month. The police department issued another 190 summonses over the last month, and they participated, responded to, in some form or fashion, about 3,553 separate types of incidents during the month. As we approach a couple of weeks away is Thanksgiving, so the redundancy in my report is being thankful. So the Jacobs Road incident, along with the Craigmere Mountain incident, there were over 250 responders that came out to, in service to, the township. And again, as Mayor Jackson read many of the names, some of them you'd have to Google to figure out where they were coming from. Right, but they thought enough to stop what they were doing and get into their equipment and come up and protect Rockaway Township and the citizens and all of the homes both in Rockaway Township and in Jefferson up on the ridge. With that being said, so the redundancy of the message is, Mayor Jackson, Administrator Palmieri, thank you. Council members, thank you. Jeff Heinzelman, Al Noth, Dennis Carruthers, thank you. All of the Rockaway Township Fire Department volunteers, thank you. All of those auxiliary members that came out to help, thank you. Jefferson Police Chief, their mayor, and members from their community, thank you. Sheriff Gannon, Jack Ambrose, the members of the Morris County Sheriff's Department that were there in service to our community, thank you. All of the members, too many to mention, that responded in that mutual aid, thank you. The members of the New Jersey Forest Fire Service, and again, we just heard about a loss of a young service member. But to those that served in our community, I'd like to thank Eric, I'd like to thank Chris, George, Todd, Mike, and all of the members who again came from their jobs to do their part-time engagement here in Rockaway Township and were up fighting the fires to save our property and our homes and protect our citizens. To Jeff Paul, Morris County OEM, Scott DiGirolamo, Morris County Law and Public Safety, thank you. They brought out the drone, which was amazingly helpful to capture heat images of the fire that they were trying to fight. To the members of the Rockaway Township Police Department, thank you. To the members of the public, the overwhelming support as they came out in droves to support all of the actions, more donations of food and drink to the point where they had to figure out things to do with it because there was so much, all right? Thank you for your support and your cooperation during that time. Thank you very much.
Can you follow that, Mr. Nuss?
Yeah, I got to spend some quality time with Chief Scher at both fires, the microwave and the Green Pond fire. That fire was 75 yards from my back property line. That's how close it got. So we got to spend some quality time. DPW did assist with the fire and building roads in the compost area, providing support. And I would like to thank all the volunteer members and the forest fire, all those that attended both fires for what they've done. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Dyer, you're next. Mr. Kelly, you're out of order. This is not question and answer period.
I'd just like to add, I know Halloween has come and gone, but I'd like to thank the chief in that I counted 4 patrols in my neighborhood alone. We see the police out there. We appreciate it, and my neighbors appreciate it, and it's well received, and we see you out there. Thank you.
Mr. Heinzelman?
On behalf of the fire department, thank you for the support of council, administration, and the community over the last 4 weeks. They greatly appreciate your support, and we'll answer the call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and do it all over again, just to make sure everybody's got a home to go back to. So thank you for your support.
Mr. Coward?
Nothing to report.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn by consensus. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.